Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Season 5 finale of Two Shot Tuesday. My name is Jason Riley. We've got a very special episode for you, but I don't want to get into any of it until I greet my co-host, Barry T. Nixon. Barry, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Jay. Thank you very much. I cannot believe it. Another season in the can. That's kind of incredible. We do have a very exciting episode today, and we're going to be discussing an event that you selected for us to attend, and we're going to get into all that. But as you like to say, we do have a format here on the broadcast. So why don't we start with our shots and then take our listeners on a journey?
Absolutely. What have you got to kick us off with, Barry?
Well, at the time of this recording, this is sorely needed. It's a Starbucks coffee with some whiskey added to it.
I'm going to explain why we have that in just a moment, but what type of whiskey you got in that coffee?
It is the Bushmills 12 year. So it is literally like putting a silk hat on a pig. You don't usually, this is not necessarily a mixing whiskey. I just want to put that out there. This is more of a nice sipper as a reward for a honest day's labor. Or it can also be dumped into a coffee when you need that. So
when needed. Yeah.
That's what I got. What about you?
I've got from Niagara Falls, the last two shots. It's a tough whiskey, the 40 Creek here, gifted to me from a friend of mine in a small bottle. And it's a tough sipper. And as we've seen on the show before, it's a tough shot. So get ready for this one.
Okay. Here's to you, Jay.
Wow. Yeah. It kicks. It keeps kicking. It keeps kicking. That's what a 40 Creek will do. It's like we are creating a creek where there was no creek. It was simply a landmass, and now we are driving home. So that's your 40 Creek experience. Barry, we had a lot of great whiskeys. And in fact, let me let our listeners and viewers know we are recording on a Sunday. It is rare for us, but we were so excited because just this past Friday, 48 hours ago, we attended the Whisky Global Toronto show, and we have got a review of the entire show for this episode. And so it is Sunday. It is 2 p.m., so it's not that early, but for one of us who maybe went to bed a little later last night, it is a good morning to you, sir. Good morning.
Unbelievable. The degeneracy on this show it seems to know zero limits, and that's where we're at.
I did get a text from you at 9:30 in the morning, and I immediately was like, oh, I can record early if you are up this early. But then, again, I didn't hear from you till 1 p.m. So it was, again, you rolled over. It was a quick text check. I know the details behind it.
Yeah,
we'll leave those for another show.
Yes.
Yeah. But let's talk about the Whisky Global Toronto. Barry, you and I, you mentioned this, discovered it last year. The tickets were sold out when they were on my Instagram. The ad was served up to me again this year. So good job with Instagram marketing, Whisky Global. We bought our VIP tickets for the Friday night event, and we decided we were going to go. We were dressing up in cocktail casual. We didn't know what it was, but we pulled it off.
Oh, yes.
I would say. Yeah. And let's take our audience through the Whisky Global experience. We started off, I wanted to start the VIP experience off well. So I made sure that, when I swung by your place in an Uber, I was coming in a black car that was suited for the event. And I don't know what type of car it was because I don't know cars, but you sure did. What was it?
It was a seemingly brand new, just rolled off the assembly line Denali. It had room for days, 3 rows of seating. I felt like we were just driving around in like a small condominium. It was unbelievable. Jay, I don't know how you pulled this off, but because you didn't request Uber Black, but what you got was the equivalent thereof.
Yeah, I did request Uber Black. I didn't request a specific type of vehicle. So I requested an Uber Black. It's just that one happened to be close by and picked up the call.
Well, that's amazing.
And it was
that's
great.
How our evening began. Let's just say we were all smiles in the Denali, which took us right to the front door. But then, why do you take our viewers through the next stage? Because the getting there in the Denali, first rate.
First rate. Now, I'm going to say, spoiler alert, we had a great time at the event. All right, we had a great time at the event. There's always room for improvement. And so off the top, we want to offer our friends at the Whisky Global a little bit of the feedback that we did have as VIPs for the first night of the event.
Mm-hmm.
We were a bit early. We were there around 5:20. It said things were happening at 5:30. So not uncommon for us we were standing outside. So we were standing outside with many other VIPs in these 2 lineups as the doors were held. Fair enough. We are a bit early. You kind of want to be able to saunter in as VIPs, I think, but That's fine. Then we were let in after they scanned the tickets, and we moved into a second line, a longer line. This was now where the two lines merged inside into one, where we were standing adjacent to the event. So it was us, a row of metal dividers, and then people setting up for the event. So that, Barry, how did you describe that before we jumped on the air?
I would say it was a little underwhelming. I think for a early bird VIP ticket purchase, which is what we did, and I like what you said, you would expect that you could just sort of saunter straight into the event. Now, obviously, the vendors were not set,
Yeah,
and
that's a
so
problem.
we were kind of waiting for them to get their ducks in a row, which they did. But
They
as
did.
you pointed out, it was a second amount of waiting, and we didn't actually enter the event, I don't think, until like closer to 6 o'clock.
It was about 30 minutes of waiting inside
Mhm.
in line, and there were people getting quite annoyed because
Yes,
this
there
was not
were.
what was really told of us, was that you actually are just going to be first in line to get in, because beyond the VIP, at that point you could saunter in. Like it almost.
Mhm.
Then we got in and we got our nice whiskey tasting glass and we enjoyed the festivities, and we're going to talk about that. If I could offer one piece of advice to our friends at the Whisky Global, it's like, maybe you don't have the VIPs come early. They're denoted because they've got a nice dinner ticket, they've got a different type of wristband, and when you walk in, because the whole point of the VIP was that you got either exclusive access to some of the vendors before the crowds got there, or you got exclusive access to a certain type of whiskey. And so that was
You're
this
correct.
whiskey that was kind of hidden behind the bar. Some of the vendors weren't quite sure how that worked. They were sort of saying, yeah, I'm supposed to give this to the VIPs. I don't really know who they are. But so perhaps next time you just kind of go, VIPs, here's the great news. You come when you want. You just walk right in. You can come at 6:30 if you want to. We know who you are because you've got this special ticket, and that gets you the access that you want. I think I might have enjoyed that better than kind of being herded. It was a bit like cattle.
Yep, I don't disagree with anything that you said.
So
So
great.
now we're in. Now,
We're in. We're having a good time.
yeah.
Take us
And
through.
the vendors, everyone we spoke to, Jay, and I think that you'll agree, everyone was delightful, very knowledgeable, lovely, engaging people. And so on that note, I mean, yes, well done selecting these vendors, because every one of them that we spoke with were very personable.
Let's do a quick shout out as we went. Our very first vendor that we spoke to represented Bareface Whiskey. Now,
Yes.
I don't have the name of, we didn't collect cards at this point. So we just had a great conversation with the gentleman that was working the Bareface Whiskey, knew his stuff inside and out,
Yeah.
gave
He
us
also dressed the part too. Did you notice? Like he looked like a guy who was like, extracting whiskey from directly from the barrel.
yeah.
There was a confidence there. There was, yeah,
Yeah. He knew everything about the product. He knew
he
everything
did.
about what was coming out. He let us taste multiple types of the whiskeys available, knew everything about them. I believe Bareface Whiskey is available at the LCBO. That's where you
Yep,
purchase it. And
correct. And he even knew the price points, which was
yeah, that's
great.
right. Yeah, he knew the price points. He knew his stuff. It was a really great introduction into the Whisky Global, I think. And we had our nice little
Totally.
Whisky Global glass. I should have brought it with me. I could have showed it on camera. Fantastic. I liked having that as we get to walk around and we got to sample the whiskey. So Bareface, I'm going to
Hmm.
try that next time I go to the local. I
Me
don't
too.
think I've ever seen it, but I'm definitely going to have a look at it a little more deeper, and perhaps, maybe one day you and I'll place an order at our local an LCBO for some of the
Sure.
different types of whiskeys we saw at the Whisky Global, and we can go pick them up. We'll have them shipped to store.
Yeah. No, I like this idea very much.
All right.
Yes, the Bareface was very good. I remember the first one he gave us. He said this is sort of like your everyday whiskey,
Right.
and it was dynamite. It was really good. And then we got the VIP pour afterwards, and I mean, it was a VIP pour, but I found it wasn't as tasty as the more everyday whiskey that we sampled off the hop.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know how
I
you felt.
I did enjoy the second one a bit more. I found it smoother. That's where we differed right off the bat. But it's always good when you like the everyday even better than the premium, because you're
I
saving
agree.
money and you're enjoying it more. So that's great. So
Yeah.
Bareface, love it. Give it a try, everyone. We're going to be picking up a bottle of the Bareface, which was amazing. Then we ended up making our way over a couple of different, obviously we sampled a number of different whiskeys there.
Yes, a good number.
There was a gentleman by the name of Sam at Maverick Distillery, and they looked after the the Barn Burner whiskey. And we enjoyed a couple of samples from Sam, and there was a lady working there with him. That was incredible. They were based out of Oakville, Ontario. Maverick Distillery out of Oakville, Ontario as well. And I believe they sold it locally, from their distillery, because they said, hey, come on down. We'll give you a little tour. So
That's right.
next time we're in Oakville, Barry.
Yeah, I think it's worth the drive. They also had some pre-mixed cocktails in the same form factor as their whiskey bottles, and I tried a whiskey sour, which was very good.
Yeah.
I was impressed with that. And then I don't think I got to the old fashioned. I think at that point it was kind of like maybe it's time for a bite to eat, because this was already, although the samples are small, we should also just say that.
Yeah.
The samples truly are, when they say it's a tasting, it truly is a taste. It's like about an eyedropper worth of whiskey, but you multiply that 35 times and next thing you know, you're feeling pretty good.
You're feeling
but
pretty
not
good.
drunk. That's the other good thing. There was no public drunkenness. It was just a warm sense of well-being, I think is the best way to describe how we all felt.
Speaking of a warm sense of well-being, it's Two Shot Tuesday, which means there's always two shots. That's the format of the show, Barry. So what have you got for shot number 2?
I'm continuing on with my Bushmills 12-year added to a Pike Place Starbucks pod. So
nice.
It's going great.
Well, I'm happy to tell you I had a Pike Place earlier today when executive producer Aldo Roma and I stopped by around 8:30 this morning. And now I'm having my 40 Creek second shot.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh.
Delish.
Strong.
I'm telling you, whiskey and coffee, the perfect marriage. Okay.
All right, great.
Let's get back. Yeah.
Okay, we're back to the Whiskey Global. We did break for dinner. We had some lovely sandwiches. I mean, these roast beef sandwiches on the focaccia bread with the bottom layer was hard, which I loved. Like, it was just had a nice crunch to it. So
that's right.
Cheers to the catering that was done at the Whiskey Global. They had a great choice. There were potatoes. There was a salad thing that I didn't quite love. And you, as you said, you're like, hey, I don't need as much. They were willing to give you a lot of food, and you actually declined some of it because it was so much food.
I had to wave it off. Yeah. Like right away, the guy was like, he was ready to give me 2 of the sandwiches. And I said, no, I'm happy just to have half of one. And then he started scooping the salad like an ice cream scoop. And I was like, okay, no, that's way too much. Just a little less than that. Anyway, to your point, the food was delicious, and the focaccia bread, it was, I agree with you. It had that nice crispy bottom, but the top was like a marshmallow. And it was perfect. And the roast beef was done perfectly too. It was like that nice medium rare, that pink that you want. Fabulous. Nice. And the little potatoes, they were good too. And you were like, what are these little dots that are on them? And I was like, those are capers. And I think that you enjoyed the capers, because
I didn't mind them.
I didn't notice that any were left on your plate. So Jay, this is a big step for a super taster.
It is. I know. All right.
Right.
As a super taster, there are many foods I'll put back, but these were fantastic. The sandwiches were incredible. These were
they were
really great roast beef sandwiches. I want to hit some more highlights. We got about 5-6 minutes left in the show. Let's talk about some key highlights. And I have a question for you. Who was the first guy at the whole event to have a Fireball whiskey?
I mean, there was probably one guy who beat me, and then it was me, because the vendor was like, yeah, this is not really moving very much. Look at the bottle. Like, not even the neck had been depleted.
So I think you were first. I think you were first. She said you were first.
She did? Okay. Yeah. Again, this is probably the 30th of the tastings that I enjoyed. Also, it's worth noting, viewers and listeners, Jay was much more disciplined with his tasting and did not just taste anything that was passed his way. He was a little more discerning. So whereas I was just let's go around the world. Like every vendor, I was like, around the world. They're like, okay, easy now. Which was, but that was fun. It was fantastic.
You've got a better tolerance than me. I got to know my limits to be able to keep up and make it to the end of the event. Some favorites for you. What stood out as one of your favorites at the event?
Man, I'm looking at some of the cards we collected. I really did enjoy the Maverick whiskey sour, the premix. Mm-hmm. That was very good. The Fireball whiskey. Okay, so it tasted exactly as I remembered when I was very young. That cinnamon heart just blast. It just tastes like Valentine's Day in your mouth, which is not a bad thing. It was okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else was really the big highlight.
We had the Tullamore Dew honey. So you've got the Tullamore Dew. We had tried the honey.
Good memory. Yes. And we were also bigging up the Tullamore Dew to the vendor.
Loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, even though he was like, "Yeah, isn't that?" It was we had reversed roles all of a sudden, where we
Yeah,
were
we
trying to
were
sell
selling it.
him on the Tulip. We're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is so good! This is fantastic! Have you tried it? Have you tried it?" He's like, "Yeah, I've tried it. I'm standing here serving it to people."
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, the Tullamore honey. Would you purchase the Tullamore honey?
Too much. It was kind of sweet. I enjoyed it as a one-off. I don't think a
Me
whole
too.
bottle is something I would enjoy. But I'll buy 10 Tullamore Dews. I'll have a Tullamore Dew kind of every day in the household here, but
Yeah,
not, not the honey. So it's amazing. You
I agree.
love something so much and then you put a little twist on it. It's okay, but it's not the
Mhm.
best. Can I
Yeah,
tell you one of my favorites?
please do.
We met a gentleman named Elliot from PWS Imports, and they bring in 2 Stacks whiskey. And
Yeah,
I had to talk to them because 2 Shot Tuesday, 2 Stacks whiskey. It just, it
yeah.
was like, it was just marketing gold here. So I really enjoyed it. Loved the look of the bottle. It was a pretty popular table. So we had to wait. The
Yeah, it
first time we
was.
didn't even get in because there was a lot of long chatter, which is nice that they spend time with the people to teach them about it. But we made our way back there, waited in line, got to talk to Elliot, got some great, this is Irish whiskey, and really, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really
I did too.
fantastic. Did you try it? You did try it, yeah.
I did try it. Yeah, absolutely. And Elliot knew his stuff as well, as I recall. So that was, yeah. Like I said, I can't speak highly enough about the vendors. Each person that we interfaced with were
Yeah,
fantastic. They were just
yeah,
really the
yeah.
right people for this event in terms of having engaging a little bit of chit chat. Now, I did notice as the night wore on, there was a little bit of a unspoken etiquette that you were not supposed to sit there and monopolize the time of the vendor too much. You're allowed to have
Yeah.
allowed there was no rule around this, but you could kind of sense that people were just sort of having a little back and forth, maybe asking a question or two, maybe 3 questions, but then you're kind of moving on and
That's the
not
best.
sitting there. Did you notice that as well?
Yeah, and I think that's the best.
Yeah, I
Those
think so
folks
too.
that like to monopolize are, it's almost like you're not asking questions to learn, you're asking questions to show your knowledge. Because when you
Right.
go to a whiskey event, there's people that are whiskey aficionados that kind of like to prove that they know things a lot and they're explaining to the vendor the wonderful things. It's like the vendor knows.
Yeah,
And
they know. Yeah,
you don't really need to explain to them how much you know. It's fine if you want to. You've invested time and money in this hobby. It's great. It's nice to be able to talk about it. That's where I would have liked to have seen more talking amongst each other. Like, wouldn't that have been interesting if we'd actually got to meet some of these other guests? I know it could be on us to say hello, but if there was
sure.
some kind of chit chat organized where you got to talk to people, because it would have been really interesting to learn about some of these people that had clearly, have a love affair for whiskey well
Yeah,
beyond what we know. And
yeah,
we
for
could,
sure.
have learned from them. So that would have been kind of interesting.
Yeah, we did have one brief interaction with a guest who was directing us to say, "Oh, you should try this whiskey,"
Yeah.
like at one of the booths we were at. But you're right, there was not much of that. In fact, I think that was the only interaction we had with a non-vendor.
Yeah. So maybe that's something for a future show, Whisky Global, if there's a way to sort of organize a little, speed dating among some of the guests. That might have been
Yeah.
something interesting. I don't know. I do want to give a quick shout out as well to a gentleman named Kelly from Stillwater's Distillery. We met with Kelly early on. They do a lot of co-packing. Remember, we talked about, hey, maybe one day we'll do a 2-Shot Tuesday whiskey. We'd throw a little label on
That's
that thing,
right.
a couple vanity bottles just for you and I.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
really knowledgeable, very friendly. You got to try the premium. Oh, we both got to try the premium whiskey behind the desk. You
And that was
definitely
the
did.
one. I definitely did, Jay, because that was the one that was coming in at 60 proof. And he
Right.
said that after I'd had the sip. He's like, yeah, this is kind of high. I was like, yeah, it was, but it was surprisingly smooth for something that packs a punch like that. When you're
Yeah.
talking 60 proof.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right. So Whisky Global. Final thoughts, Barry. Will you do it again? What's your takeaway?
my takeaway overall, the experience was good. Like we touched on, the entrance could have been a little less friction, but after we got in, everyone we spoke to, were all delightful. I enjoyed the food. The room that we were in was kind of nice too. There was a DJ set up. They had music going. They also had those master classes, which we didn't attend, but they did offer that as a way for people to do deep dives into certain whiskey brands if they wish to. But overall, I thought it was very professional, and I would absolutely recommend it if you're a fan of spirits and whiskey in particular. Give it a shot.
Me too. And they tour all around. I know there's Whisky Global Toronto. I believe there's a Vancouver. On their website, they travel around. So check it out if it's coming to your city and you're not in Toronto. Same as you. It was if you could have just taken away that friction off the top, it would have been so smooth. Imagine just to walk in there and just be smooth. Otherwise, loved it. I think that's the one adjustment I would make. And the company, Barry, as always, was top drawer.
Thank you. And I completely agree. And Jay, you just were very and super engaging with these vendors, and to the point, viewers, where Jay was also adding to our subscriptions on our YouTube channel by simply asking these vendors, after we had a pleasant back and forth, to go ahead and subscribe. And every one of them said, I'll do that. We didn't get any pushback whatsoever, Jay. And it was because of your amazing ability to close. You were just like Alec Baldwin in Glengarry Glen Ross. I was in awe of what I was seeing. It was pretty incredible.
Well, and if you are one of our new friends at the show, checking us out for the first time, hey, please drop a little comment in the comments if you're on YouTube. We'd love to hear from you. We truly had a great night. It was really great to meet you. And to our listeners and viewers, please, keep an eye out for Whisky Global and check it out. You may just see Barry and I there next year. Barry, we'll definitely see you next week.
Absolutely, Jay. It's been a pleasure as always, my friend.
And you. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.
You too.
Thank you for listening to Two Shot Tuesday. The show is produced by Barry and I and edited by me. If you have yet to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, please take a second to do so now. It helps us grow, and it helps new audiences to find the show. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Two Shot Tuesday and on Twitter at Two Shot Tuesday Podcast. Stop by, give us a follow, leave us a comment, and share your favorite episodes. If you have a question you'd like featured on the show, you can send us a text at 647-486-4848. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.